Okay, which quadrants cannot be used when evaluating these functions? This is very important knowledge to have, which is that when you are asked to evaluate arcsine of a value, which is the same thing as saying this, that what it's asking for is an angle. It's a location on the unit circle. And let's say that value is square root of 2 over 2. And the function is going to tell you the location on the unit circle where sine is this value. The function will give you a single answer for this single input, and that will be only here. These two quadrants will not be used to give you the answer. So to answer this question, which quadrants cannot be used, for sine, 2 and 3 will not be used, but you will use 1 and 4. To answer this specific question, that is the location where sine is negative root 2 over 2, and this angle is negative pi over 2. Notice I did not say, negative pi over 4. Notice I did not say 7 pi over 4. That gets at this question. What is the allowable range of answers to these functions? You're to give answers that range from negative pi over 2 to pi over 2, and only those angles or those radians in between, okay? 7 pi over 4 is not within this range. It's like a number line, right? Negative pi over 2, here's pi over 2, here's 0, and everything in between. You're only allowed to name angles that are in between these two values. 7 pi over 4, is coterminal with this. It's the same angle, but that's not the answer when you're asked about when you're using an inverse function like this. And another way to write this range is I should say or equal to. I use brackets because you're allowed to name this as your answer or that as your answer to this inverse function. For arc cos, or same thing, inverse cosine, you're allowed to use the top half of the circle. Do not name angles that are in the bottom half. In other words, do not use quadrants 3 or 4. So the allowable range for cosine, you're going anywhere between 0 and 2 pi. So, or if it's the angle is x, you can use x. 0. I'm sorry, did I say 2 pi? I meant pi. From here to here. These are the range of answers to any inverse inverse cosine function. Another way to write that range is bracket 0, anywhere between there and there, bracket. So it includes these. And then arctan is just like sine. It's the same. Don't use these quadrants. Do not use quadrants 2 or 3 for your answers. Just the right half of the circle. And The answers that you're allowed to give are just like sine. Negative pi over 2. There's the angle up to pi over 2. Or you can say like this. Only from here to here, and including these two locations. And again, these you use the negative angles. I'm going to throw in number 7 as a bonus. Because this gets at the difference between an inverse function and an equation. Value of this inverse function, okay, remember, you're talking inverse cos or arc cos. Only look at the top half of the circle. And here's the value, negative root 2 over 2. So we're talking about this value right here, which is in the center of the quadrant. And this we'll call, well, that's what the angle is. I'm sorry, why did I say negative? Positive 3 pi over 4. That's the answer, a single answer. Okay? You're not going to say this, even though this angle also has a cosine of negative root 2 over 2. That is out. No. Only this. However, when you're solving the equation, and it's asking the very same question, x, which is your angle, you are going to say both. You're going to give angles that satisfy this equation. Any of them. Well, I shouldn't say any of them, where x is in this specific interval. Okay? So this time we are going to say 3 pi over 4, and we're going to say 5 pi over 4. Solution 1, solution 2 to the equation, they are both between 0 and 2 pi. Okay?